Nobody could imagine anything like this would ever have happened, but it happened. I have been given a unified family that has supported me and loved me. At 66, the legendary Andrea Bocelli has finally broken his silence. And what is revealed has left the world utterly speechless. Known for his soul-stirring voice and graceful presence, Bocelli has long kept certain truths hidden behind the music. But now, in a moment both vulnerable and powerful, he's opening up like never before. What drove him to speak out after all these years? What secret has he carried in silence? Prepare to be moved, because this revelation reshapes everything we thought we knew about the man behind the voice. From humble beginnings to global music royalty, when Andrea Bocelli first stood beside the great Luciano Pavarotti, few could have predicted how fast his life would change. That one collaboration lit a fire that would soon blaze across the globe. It wasn't just a career breakthrough, it was the birth of a phenomenon. In the years that followed, Bocelli's powerful tenor voice would not only fill the world's grandest stages but also redefine what classical music could mean in the modern world. Yet it wasn't until the 1990s that the world truly began to take notice. His duet with Sarah Brightman, Time to Say Goodbye, released in 1996, skyrocketed to the top of the charts, particularly in Germany where it held the #1 spot for a record-breaking 14 consecutive weeks, selling over 3 million copies there alone. It was the kind of success most artists only dream of, and it was only the beginning. By 1997, his album Romanza had become a global sensation, selling an estimated 20 million copies worldwide. It remains one of the best-selling albums of all time and the highest-selling release by an Italian artist. 2 years later, in 1999, Sogno and Sacred Arias each sold over 5 million copies, further solidifying their place at the top of the classical music world. Sacred Arias would go on to become the best-selling classical album by a solo artist in history. Bocelli's ability to bridge classical and pop genres brought him a uniquely diverse audience. His 2009 holiday release My Christmas became the best-selling holiday album that year, moving over 4 million copies. Along the way, he has collaborated with global stars like Celine Dion, Ed Sheeran, Jennifer Lopez, Ariana Grande, and Christina Aguilera, each partnership drawing in new fans and expanding his reach beyond traditional boundaries. In a career that spans more than 3 decades, Bocelli has released 17 solo studio albums, 9 full operas, and countless live and compilation recordings. His performances are equally legendary. From singing at the Olympic Games and the World Cup to gracing the stage at the Vatican and the White House, Bocelli has made music history at nearly every major international event. Even as the world changed, Bocelli adapted. His 2020 live stream concert Believe in Christmas became the most successful classical music live stream ever, selling over 70,000 virtual tickets to fans in 120 countries. In 2018, his album Sigh made history by reaching #1 on both the UK Albums Chart and the US Billboard 200, a rare feat for a classical album and the first time this had happened in over 2 decades. All of this success has helped build a musical empire. With more than 90 million records sold and countless sold-out performances across the globe, Bocelli's estimated net worth has reached $100 million. His 2022 global recording deal with Universal Music Group proves his star continues to rise, even after 30 years in the spotlight. Bocelli's influence extends beyond numbers and charts. His voice, at once intimate and epic, has connected deeply with people across every background, from world leaders and royals to pop fans and opera purists alike. But what drives a global icon to rewrite his legacy with quiet impact instead of roaring applause? Stay glued to your screen. The voice that taught the world to see. And as the world leaned in, listening to his vision as intently as his voice, Andrea Bocelli continued to redefine what legacy truly means. At an age when most would rest, he was just beginning a new chapter, one shaped not by applause but by impact. His foundation school for blind children, planned for Tuscany, was not just a project. It was the echo of a life lived in music, hardship, and purpose. But this wasn't the first time Bocelli had used his influence to champion meaningful change. Long before the announcement of the school, Bocelli had quietly been shaping lives behind the scenes. Since its founding in 2011, the Andrea Bocelli Foundation has worked in some of the world's most vulnerable communities, rebuilding schools in Haiti after the devastating 2010 earthquake, providing education and healthcare access to children, and funding scientific research. The mission has always been clear: empower people and communities through education, opportunity, and the transformative power of music. In September 2016, one such initiative came to life when the foundation unveiled a fully restored school in Muccia, Italy, after an earthquake had ravaged the region. That same year, Bocelli headlined the Voices of Haiti concert at the United Nations in New York City, where 60 children from Andrea Bocelli Foundation programs performed with him, an unforgettable moment that proved music's power to uplift and unite. But it was the COVID-19 pandemic that highlighted Bocelli's heart most clearly to the world. On Easter Sunday, April 12, 2020, he stepped inside an empty Duomo Cathedral in Milan to deliver a performance titled Music for Hope. With only a church organ and silence as his accompaniment, Bocelli sang to the world in lockdown. The live stream shattered records, reaching more than 2.8 million viewers at its peak, and now stands among the most watched classical music performances in history. It wasn't fame he chased that day, it was connection. At a time when fear and uncertainty held the world in its grip, his voice carried something beyond sound. In that quiet cathedral, he gave people courage. This courage, this hope, continues to ripple through every note he sings and every cause he supports. In 2022, Bocelli reminded the world once again that music is not just entertainment, it's a lifeline. With the release of A Family Christmas, he wasn't just singing for children who, like he was modeling born into darkness. He is building a bridge of melody and legacy from one generation to the next. The first notes of that vision are already forming in Tuscany, where the story began decades ago, not with nostalgia, a dream, but with purpose, and a boy who refused to be silenced. To understand the full power of his journey, we must return to the very beginning, a small town in Tuscany, a modest home, and a young boy with failing eyesight but boundless vision. Born with congenital glaucoma, Andrea Bocelli faced immense physical challenges from the start. By age 12, a football accident rendered him completely blind. Yet, even in darkness, his love for music became the light that guided him. His parents, recognizing his rare talent and unshakable spirit, nurtured his gift. The piano became his sanctuary, and soon, he was mastering other instruments: flute, saxophone, drums, guitar. But it was his voice, powerful and pure, that would carry him far beyond those Tuscan hills. Encouraged to pursue academics as well, Bocelli earned a law degree, even practicing briefly as a court-appointed lawyer. Still, music kept calling, louder than ever. That call would eventually lead him from local piano bars to international concert halls, from obscurity to global acclaim. Yet through every accolade and ovation, he never forgot where he came from or the people who helped him rise. His story is not just one of talent, it is one of perseverance, humility, and service. In many ways, Andrea Bocelli is more than a musician, he is a testament to what the human spirit can achieve when guided by purpose and love. Now, as he enters this new chapter, building schools, mentoring young artists, and using his platform to advocate for those without a voice, he continues to compose not just melodies, but meaning. He reminds us that greatness is not measured only in fame or fortune, but in the quiet moments when one chooses to lift others, to heal through art, to see not with eyes but with heart. Andrea Bocelli's journey is not just his own. It belongs to every person who has ever felt unseen, unheard, or uncertain. Through his music, his mission, and his message, he has shown the world that even in the deepest darkness, beauty can rise, and that sometimes, the most powerful vision comes not from sight, but from within. Tell a story born not from ease, but from endurance. The answer lies in a life lived with intention, resilience, and unwavering belief that beauty can thrive even in darkness. Andrea Bocelli's journey began not on a stage, but in the silence of struggle. That silence, filled with pain, determination, and raw emotion, became the forge for a voice that would one day move millions. The fire that lit the music was born from hardship, not applause. To understand the light Bocelli now shares so freely, we must always return to where the shadows first fell, to that young boy in Lajatico, Tuscany, who faced blindness with defiance and turned limitation into legacy. His life is not defined by the absence of sight, but by the presence of vision. It's a vision that now manifests in every note he sings, every initiative his foundation launches, and every lesson he passes down to his children. In many ways, Andrea Bocelli has taught the world how to truly see, not with the eyes, but with the soul. From his earliest battles in hospital rooms to center stage at the world's greatest concert halls, from the dark despair of losing his last bit of vision to the radiant joy of singing beside his daughter, his life is a testament to the transformative power of love, music, and faith. Even now, with decades of achievements behind him, Andrea is not slowing down. He's building, teaching, giving. He is ensuring that the echoes of his journey inspire the next generation to dream beyond what they can see. And so, the boy who once sat quietly at a piano in a small Tuscan village, refusing to be silenced, now sings for the world. His music, shaped by shadow and strengthened by love, reminds us all that greatness does not come from what we can see, but from what we choose to believe. Andrea Bocelli's story is a testament to the power of persistence, the strength of love, and the transcendent ability of music to carry us beyond our limitations. In 1999, Bocelli opened a window into his personal life with the release of his deeply moving memoir The Music of Silence. However, instead of narrating his journey directly through his own voice, he crafted it through the eyes of Amos Bardi, a fictional character shaped by the same struggles, dreams, and fire that had shaped Bocelli himself. This literary choice was no accident. Amos was more than just an alter ego, he was a symbol of universality. Through Amos, readers saw not only the reflection of Bocelli's battles with blindness and his discovery of music, but the broader, timeless human story of resilience and hope. The memoir wasn't just a simple biography, it was an emotional confession, told not with bitterness, but with grace. Each page carried the rhythm of real pain and quiet triumphs, from the painful surgeries of his youth to the moment music first illuminated his world of darkness. And, as it reached readers far and wide, The Music of Silence found its way into their hearts, not only because of its connection to music, but because it was a story about enduring love, unshakable hope, and the unseen forces that move us forward. Many readers, some of whom had never heard opera before, found themselves deeply moved by a narrative that wasn't merely about the technicalities of music, but about the resilience that guides every person facing hardship. In 2017, Bocelli's memoir was adapted into a film of the same name, directed by Michael Radford. With Toby Sebastian portraying Amos Bardi, the film provided a vivid, cinematic portrayal of Bocelli's internal and external battles. It didn't dwell in sorrow but focused on the courage that emerged from struggle. One of the most stirring moments in the film shows the blind Amos, undeterred by his condition, riding a horse to his own music. That image, of man, movement, and melody, became a metaphor for Bocelli's entire life, a life I never considered my blindness as a disability, but by what he chose to create from it. It is not something didn't aim to draw tears, rather, that aimed to awaken quiet in its delivery, echoes like a song of freedom. It avoided the trap of casting Bocelli as a tragic figure and instead revealed a spirit that refused to bend. Through both his memoir who embraced every limitation Bocelli did something rare. He turned his personal struggles into a beacon of hope. His story became a call for all who face challenges, not just those with disabilities, but anyone who feels restricted by life's hardships. His was a song that asked for no sympathy, it simply asked that the world listen, and in doing so, millions found courage tucked between the silences. But what if blindness wasn't a limitation? What if it was simply a lens through which to experience something greater? For Bocelli, blindness has never been a barrier, but rather the backdrop against which his inner vision has only grown stronger. Seeing through sound, he turned what others might consider a disability into a gift. With every note he sings, Andrea Bocelli reminds us that vision isn't always tied to sight. While others rely on their eyes to interpret the world, he leans into something deeper, the music of the soul. I see nothing with my eyes, but I see everything with my soul, Bocelli once shared. That truth resonates beyond concert halls, touching the hearts of millions around the world. Born in Lajatico, Tuscany, in 1958, Bocelli could have lived a life defined by the limitations of his blindness. Instead, he turned those limitations into a source of inspiration. His voice, rich with warmth and conviction, transcends language, moving listeners from all corners of the globe. Even those who don't understand the lyrics of his songs are moved by the emotion and the power he conveys. Through music, Bocelli teaches us not just to hear with our ears, but to listen with our hearts, to feel life in ways that reach beyond the senses. Bocelli's journey has not only shaped the music world, but has become a guiding light for people across the globe. When audiences watch him perform, they don't see a blind man on stage, they see an artist who has defied the odds and never stopped pushing the boundaries of possibility. His impact extends far beyond opera houses and concert arenas. It lives on in classrooms, in hearts, and through the many charitable projects he passionately supports. One of his most profound contributions has been the founding of a free music school for blind children. What inspired this vision? Perhaps it was empathy, or perhaps a deep-rooted belief that everyone, regardless of their circumstances, deserves the chance to find their voice and never be left without a song to sing. This school, just one of many projects under his Andrea Bocelli Foundation, helps empower children who, like Bocelli, may not have access to the resources others take for granted. It is more than just a place for music, it is a sanctuary of possibility, a place where children can realize their full potential, regardless of the challenges they may face. For Andrea Bocelli, blindness is not a limitation, it is a different path to greatness. His music, his legacy, and his charitable work all reflect a powerful truth, that the greatest limitations are often the ones we place on ourselves. Through every note, every act of generosity, and every performance, Bocelli reminds us that we all have the ability to rise above our challenges and create something beautiful. In the end, Bocelli's story is not one of tragedy, it is a story of triumph. It is a story of a man who turned darkness into light and who, through music, gave the world a gift that continues to inspire and heal. Through his voice, his foundation, and his example, Andrea Bocelli proves that the greatest vision comes not from the eyes, but from the soul.